Hello, and thanks for joining me for another review. Today we have the DZ09 Smartwatch. Inside the box we have the watch, a user manual that's in Chinese and English. We have a charging cable and a screen protector. There are several reviews of this watch, so I hope that the time that I've spent with it I'll be able to share some things that you haven't heard. This is the gold version, which has sort of a brown colored watch band, and the back is brown. You have the metal is brushed gold. At the top you have the camera. At the bottom you have the home button. On the left side you have a charging port which takes a micro USB, and on this side there's nothing. Now if you see this for sale online, then it'll probably be on eBay or some Chinese website or something, but they go anywhere from $20 to $45 and up. But if you pay more than $25 for this, then you're not really getting your money's worth. And a few things that I'm going to tell you will probably, you'll understand then. This camera, depends on which site you're on. They'll say it's a 2 megapixel camera. None of them are 2 megapixels. If it is, it's the worst 2 megapixels I've ever seen in my life. This is a 0.3 megapixel, not even 1 megapixel. The photos are really substandard. I bought a digital camera 20 some years ago that did better photos than this, and while they are clearer than the video, the video is even worse. I mean, you have to set it at the highest standard even to get any kind of video, and I'm not sure exactly how desperate you'd have to be to want to use that. The bands are not exchangeable. Once you get this, unless you have another watch with the exact same band, you can't switch these out. I opened the case up and to see what was actually inside of it, and they're on like little posts in there. They're like, once you pop this part right here out, they're on posts, so they don't have a rod that goes through them, and they're not interchangeable. So if you thought you were going to get like a silver one or something, wanted a black band, then you better order it like that when you are ordering it, because the bands are not replaceable unless you have another watch like this one, or they sell them specifically on the site that you bought the watch, and I haven't saw those anywhere. Okay, I've popped the back off of it, and let me flip it over. Now on the back you'll have a rechargeable battery, and so far the battery lasts a long time. I mean, I was impressed with that part of it. So if you pull that out, you have a place for a micro SD card. I put an 8 gigabyte in there because that's what I had on hand, and then right beside of that you'll have a place for a SIM card. Now since this is unlocked, if you have an AT&T micro SIM or a T-Mobile, I haven't tried any other ones except for T-Mobile and AT&T, then you'll be able to put that in there. Now if you want to add this to your account through AT&T, whenever you give them the back plate has the IMEI number on the back of it, and so you don't have to actually go inside and look for it. The way I didn't see that first, so the way I got mine was I went into the phone section and then put in the *#06#, and that gave me the same thing that's on this plate here. If you want to add this to your AT&T account, just be forewarned that once you give them, it'll say that the IMEI number is a good one, but since you can't tell them what kind of watch this is, they don't have it listed. So you're going to be stuck trying to persuade them just to activate a SIM card or go through some other means to get it. But I had a lot of trouble trying to get them to actually activate just a SIM card. On AT&T, if you have a data plan with more than 2 phones on it, you can add this smartwatch to it for $10 and that'll give you unlimited text, calling, and shared data. But they say it won't work. Whenever it comes up in their system, it says it's a 2G unit, and it won't work. But I popped in an AT&T card, and it worked just fine, except for the data. I never could get the data to work on it because the APN has to be set, and I could never get it to properly type in right. The keyboard on this is so small that it's almost impossible to do it, and it took me like 20 minutes of just back and forth to be able to get it to, what I did find on the internet, and I couldn't get it to work. This battery, like I said, this is a 3.7 volt 380 milliamp hour battery, and it's very good. I mean, it's the cable that comes with it in the box doesn't have a charger, so you'll have to use something like the iPhone charger or some other USB charger. It takes a 4.2 volt, so I've been using the iPhone little block, and it works just fine. And it charges in like 2 hours. It's fully charged. Let's pop that back in. Now this is annoying. It's got a little sound. Whenever it comes on or turns off, that's what it makes that sound, and you will get annoyed with it after a while. Currently I have this connected to my phone. It's an iPhone 6s Plus, and I like it because you can make phone calls from this unit, and also to the iPhone will transfer over the phone book, and you'll have all your contacts. So, and if someone calls you on your iPhone, this also will light up, and it'll show you who's calling, and then you can answer the phone call from that. It has a loud speaker on it, and I like that part of it because it's something that I like to play music over, so I can tell my iPhone, I say, hey Siri, go ahead and play dance music or something like that, and it plays through the watch. Okay, I have this connected to my iPhone 6s Plus, and more or less you can just do it through Bluetooth, and the phone is actually capable of sending out the contacts and also making calls through this. You can make phone calls to it, and it sounds really good and clear. I play my music and stuff like that through like a station through Apple Music, and it plays through the phone, which sounds pretty good. A couple things about this that I didn't really like was, if you don't have a SIM card in this, then the internet portion of this phone or this watch doesn't work. So like if you go this way, and you can, because it has places where you can set it up, has call logs and messaging. The messaging only works on Android phones, but if you can find an actual program that'll actually work with it. I've tried several, and none of them seem to work very well. The only thing that works really well is the Bluetooth connectivity through the iPhone, and then you only get, play through music and make phone calls and stuff like that. There's your Bluetooth. It has anti-lost. Now, if you can do the anti-lost, but you can't do looking for phone. If you do the looking for phone, it asks you to put something on it called BT Notifier, which is not available through the Apple Store. So, but the anti-lost does work, and I've used that several times. And the remote capture, that doesn't work with the iPhone either. You still have to have the Bluetooth notifier turned on. The pedometer works really well. The sedentary, that works pretty well. You can set it from 10, 30 minutes, an hour, and it will go off. The sleep monitor, I haven't used that. I'm not sure how it would work because it doesn't have any kind of sensors that would, be able to pick that up. And there's your Bluetooth dialer. And like I said, it connects real easy with the iPhone, and it works real well. And I've made several phone calls, and the battery holds up pretty well with phone calls. Then you have the okay, the quick response. What that is, if you click on that, then you use the QR code reader, and it'll send you to a site that you can download the BT notifier for an Android phone. And I did that, and it still didn't work that well. So, you know, I didn't even use it. And then you have the smart search and the alarm and the calendar. And the calendar's nice, but it is really tiny. Go to the next page. You have a calculator. I like the calculator. It's like one of them old-timey calculators you used to get when the watch, that all it did was the calculator. You got your themes. You know, there's only like half a dozen, and they're just basic themes and stuff like that. File manager. Now this file manager, it works pretty well. Once you put your card in there, you can do like MP3s, MP4s, and videos and stuff like that. And once you put a card in there, it automatically starts, anything that you take pictures or anything like that automatically goes to the card. And so that works out pretty well, because the phone has only 32 megabytes of memory, and half of that, or most of that, is used up by the actual operating system. So you have the profiles, and next page, audio player works real well. The FM radio, that only works if you have a micro USB earphones to put in the side of it. They didn't, some packages actually come with that, but this one didn't come with it. But I've seen some several reviews where they said that really works nice. The camera, like I said, they say it's 2 megapixels, but it is not. I don't care where you buy this. If it's a DZ09 smartwatch, it is a 0.3 megapixel, not even 1 megapixel, and the pictures are horrible and the video is horrible. So don't even, you know. So you have the camera and you have the video recorder. Image viewer, the screen is real nice. It's 240 by 240, and I think it plays back videos really well that you put in there, and it also does images. So I've got my family photos and stuff like that, and it looks really well. As for the browser, every time, if you don't have a micro or if you don't have a SIM card in there, then the browser's not going to work. And even if you do have the SIM card in there, if you don't know the APN settings, then it's still not going to work. I've seen some people that have them set, but I can't seem to get it set because it doesn't look like the normal APNs. So you'll have to know more about it than I do to be able to get it set, or find someone else to show you. You got the sound recorder, and that's pretty nice. It's got really good sound quality. And SIM tool kit if you want to lock it or something like that. Then, like I said, you have Facebook, Twitter, and WhatsApp. That's pre-installed, and that's it. If you want any other applications, you're out of luck. There's nothing out there right now. No one's hacked it to the point where they can actually put other stuff on there for you, so, or other apps, and so you're just stuck with what does. But like I said, if you don't have a SIM card in here that is connected and working on the internet, you can't use those because it doesn't work through the Bluetooth connectivity either on Android or iPhones. Now, like I said before, there's 4 screws right here that I have taken apart, and once you pull those 4 screws out, this pops off, and then these 2 arm bands here, they fall away, like, because they're only supported in there with 2 little posts, plastic posts. So once this has been removed, and it does come apart real easy, and it's not hard to put back together, but once it does, it's, you know, it just takes a few little, you know, maneuvering, and you'll finally get it put back together. Now, I did find something interesting inside this. You have the battery, you have the speaker over here, and you'll have a vibrating motor, and then the rest of it along the top is just the microchip and stuff like that. I did notice a black wire that went nowhere over here, but I'm thinking that is the antenna. Now, once you take this off, there's a wire that comes down, and it has a antenna, a flat antenna on the end of it that goes into the bottom this band. So once you pull this off, there's a black wire that goes into it, and the little pad will come out, and it's as thin as a little piece of paper, but you can see an antenna on it, and I think that's for the Bluetooth. So the Bluetooth is inside this thing here, and it's from the top to about right there. That's about how big it is, and it's on a black wire. So once you pull this off, just be careful that you don't disconnect that, because you'll lose your Bluetooth. This band, it came off fairly easy too, and there's nothing inside of it. Now, is this watch worth buying? That's the big question. Personally, for me, I think I paid like $23 off of eBay. It came within like 3 days, and I was satisfied with that. The screen is really nice. The camera is crap. The audio microphone and all that is, I love that. You'd think with one speaker it would be very loud, but it is extremely loud, and it's not tinny, but it's not bass either. It's just in between. It's something, if you by yourself or maybe with somebody else, you just want to listen to a little bit of music on other than from your phone, then you can start it on here, and but it just sounds really clear. Now, as far as transferring the music from your phone to listen to it on here, I've only done it on the iPhone, so that's all I know, but it does work very well. The bands are stiff. They're really stiff, and when I put it through, I go about to the third one, and it's uncomfortable on my wrist because it's so stiff. But if I go down to the second one, then it's all right. But I just feel like over time, I don't know this for a fact, but it just feels like over time that if you bend this enough, eventually it's going to crack. So just be aware of that when you get it. And but other than that, it's I think it's worth $23. I would like to pay less, but you can say that pretty much for anything. But I think it's a nice phone for a beginner and something to tinker with. And I think in the future that, like on XDA, they're going to do some hacks and stuff, and this might be better than it is right now. But if you're looking for something just for basic stuff that you don't want to add any apps to, or you want to make this into an actual phone, then if you can get it working, the APN, then you're going to have a really, a nice timepiece, because like I said, it works very well for what it is. And other than that, it's like it is. It's not a Samsung. It's not a Moto 360. And it doesn't have Wi-Fi. All it has is Bluetooth. And when you connect it through Bluetooth, you don't get internet service. So if you want internet service, you're going to have to buy yourself a SIM card through AT&T or some other prepaid service. You can go on eBay, and they have SIM cards on there. They'll say that are pre-activated if you want to just try it out. And they usually run anywhere between $6 and $10, and you'll get like 30 minutes. But and if you want to try it, then that's the thing to do. Anyway, that's my review of the DZ09 Smartwatch. I hope I've given you a little bit more information than the other reviews you've saw. But I'd like to thank you, and please subscribe and thumbs up.